right into it, because
Right.
when don't we?
Hey.
Right, Dan, what did we just see?
We just saw
Justice
Diet
League?
Adventure.
Justice League?
Just we just saw Justice League: The League of Their Own.
The half in the bag Justice League video
Yeah.
is really funny.
So
It's
go
good.
go check that out, guys.
Yeah, watch that. It's better than this.
Better than whatever we're gonna talk about.
Yeah. So this is my second watch of it, and I refuse to spend more than $5. So
Yeah.
it's just because it's like I guess it's like kind of fun when you're watching it, but it's very nothing. It's a very nothing movie.
Yeah, there's at most the minimum required like emotion to carry
A story.
a story along.
Not a good story. That,
Yeah.
If that
It's-
even.
Like there's so many ideas in this movie that could have been cool if it was like
If Joss Whedon was directing,
if Joss
from the
Whedon
start.
actually directed it the whole way through. And there was like ideas that I was like speculating about that I'm like, oh, this would be really cool to explore, and like, oh, what if this was like a thing in this universe? But like, so much of it is just like zero.
Zero.
Like so,
Emotions
like
done.
because like you have all these classic, awesome DC characters, and like, oh shit, they're teaming up, and like every
How cool is that?
how cool is that? And it's
Yeah.
boring. Like you don't like it's.
I'm trying to figure out how do they like what's like I know you can just do the Avengers model and this movie tries to do it but doesn't do it as well.
But it does it wrong.
No, it does it very wrong. Like what would be like a good way to like put them together or
Just well,
without using the Avengers
Without
model?
using
like how do they
the
usually
Avengers
assemble? Like how do they do it in the New 52?
in the New 52, it's
It's just like
it's basically the same story except like, oh shit, it's Darkseid's here and he's got his army. We gotta like fight him. But they do the Avengers where like Batman and Green Lantern are both investigating like, oh, there's these weird like bug aliens that are like attacking people.
Wait, is
and
this
stuff.
Justice League War?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I made me want to watch it. This movie made me want to watch that because it's like, oh, this is the same movie, but like Justice League War is way better.
Yeah.
And like, so Green Lantern and Batman like meet up,
Yeah.
and then they have a fight, and then they realize, oh wait, we're on the same team. Let's team up.
Yeah.
But they like kind of hate each other at first because like they don't get along and stuff like like because it's the first time they've met and stuff like that. And so
So
like,
Batman doesn't trust anyone.
Batman doesn't
Yeah.
trust him.
That was kind of a weird
Green
thing.
Lantern's just like, you're kind of a dick, Batman, and like.
Okay. You know what I thought was kind of weird about this movie? So in almost every adaptation of the Justice League, pick me. I've watched Super Friends. I've watched some of the original Justice League cartoon.
Yeah.
I've watched Young Justice.
Yeah.
These are my sources. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I read comic books a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
Almost never does anyone on the Justice League actually know Batman's secret identity.
Yeah, that's true. Typically,
He's very much like I feel like this movie because Batman's the one putting together the team. He has to be like an extroverted Batman.
Yeah,
An extrovert Batman.
But normally he's like, I work alone.
He's very I work alone.
Like
and that could have been a really cool point of conflict. Is that
yeah, he's usually the last one to join the team.
That could have been his arc for the movie. Where he's like, I work alone, and then he's like, and then like Wonder Woman's like, Batman, we should put the team together.
Yeah,
like I've been monitoring. Wonder Woman's like, I'm the one that's been monitoring these individuals. Batman's like, yeah, I keep tabs on them as well because in case they try to kill us.
And I have a contingency plan to kill all of them just in case.
Like Batman's supposed to be like I might be saying, oh, he wasn't dark enough in this movie. Batman's a very dark character. Like
Batman's allowed to be the one dark one.
He is.
The problem with like Man of Steel and Batman v Superman is like everyone is
Batman.
Everyone is just
Man of Steel
Batman.
What if Superman was Batman? It doesn't work. So, but I wish, and Batman was Batman in Batman v Superman.
Yeah,
because he was very.
He wasn't Batman
he
enough.
Was very dark.
That's so weird that I didn't even think of that until you just mentioned it.
Yeah.
But like, how amazing! Like, what when they like brought on Joss,
Batman and Superman such an interesting.
How amazing would it have been if they're like. If they went as soon as Wonder Woman was success,
but they're overcorrecting. Everyone in this movie is Superman.
Yeah, exactly. That's so weird.
Yeah,
but like, imagine how great it would have been if, as soon as they noticed that Wonder Woman was successful and that people liked Wonder Woman, they flipped the narrative of Justice League and made Wonder Woman the central character instead of Batman. Yeah. So Wonder Woman, like, her family likes the Beacon, and like they realize that Stephen Wolf's like going to destroy everything. So she's the one like going to get people the whole time, and she's like,
"Maybe I
Batman,
got, but I need
help on this
yeah.
one. And she goes to Batman. She's like, "Hey, Batman, we need your help
She's like,
on
and
this."
then you can have
Hey,
a part where
Aquaman,
she
we
like she looks at the old photograph of her team, or she's like, I need a new team,
Yeah, I
kind
need
of
a-
thing. Like she doesn't have to say anything. She can just look it up, look at it, and put it down, and then just be like, I can't
do this alone.
I can't do this alone. And then well, I guess you need like some kind of side character to be talking to her for that scene.
Well, you could have.
We could have her
the first one.
Themyscira, like maybe one of the.
Oh yeah, like with her mom and and she's like,
he stole the box.
he stole the box. Like it's not looking good. Like we gotta like do something about this. She's like, all right.
I'll see what she's like. Oh, you have to stop it. And then she's like, and then
yeah, but she's like, but I know I can't do this alone. And she goes,
and then you cut to like inside of her house, and you show the picture of the Howling Commandos like on the wall, and then you pan down to her like on a computer or something.
Yeah,
So
she still has that email attachment.
Yeah, so
this is you.
So then she
Who dis?
so then she sends emails to all. No. She goes. So then she
First she goes to Batman. He's like, I work alone. And she's like, okay, well,
yeah.
Well, I heard that the Atlanteans were involved in this. Let's go see Aquaman, and like, you go from there, and like, okay, I've heard of
pick
this
me.
other guy.
This is you know what else would be great about that? As much as I like it from a feminist perspective, where it's the woman getting all these men in line, it's more accurate to life.
Yeah,
I feel like guys have this, like, just in general, have like this macho thing where they're like, no, I don't, like, I want to do this by myself. I feel comfortable. Like, if saving people was my thing, like, because I like editing movies and shooting movies and stuff.
Yeah.
And I like doing that with you because we usually agree on things. But, like, for people that I don't know, I don't want to make movies with them. I just want to, shoot and edit stuff by myself. So that, and it would take an external force of, and that's part of I think that's part of the male macho thing to be
I work alone.
I work alone. I'm the best, right? So as a woman, she'd be the logical one that would be like, you guys are stupid. Let's put a fucking team together.
Yeah.
And that, I think it makes more sense.
Yeah, and okay, so I had this theory when I was watching
fixing this nothing cast might just be called fixing Justice League.
Fixing the Justice League.
that was what it was going to be.
No, but that's more fun because like there's like I don't want to just complain about the movie because like there's tons of people that are gonna do that.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty...
and with this one, like, there's enough in it that's like, oh, this could have been cool if they did it better. And the characters are the fucking Justice League, so they're good characters. Yeah. So like, why don't we like them?
No, Batman doesn't have to be
the guy putting together.
No, he doesn't have to be happy coming out of Batman v Superman.
No,
he has to be. He should be sad.
Even sadder, if anything.
He should like bury himself. He'd be like, I'm never gonna be Batman again because I basically killed Superman.
yeah. I basically killed like the humanity's like one chance at hope, and so now everyone's even sadder, and I'm gonna be even more sadder than I was before. Where this is just like, oh, we gotta put a team together. Why? Since when did you care about putting a team together? Okay, so when I was watching the movie, I had this theory because I was starting to notice like, oh, they're connecting all the dots. They're like trying to make a connection for each of the characters. Mm-hmm. Like they do the Lord of the Rings intro, which I thought
partway through the movie,
which I thought was pretty funny. I was like, oh, we gave one to the Dwarf Lord.
No, because while that was
9 rings were gifted to the race of men.
Wait, which was this your sock?
Yeah,
no, I threw my sock on the ground.
We are sockers.
Okay, no, but like when I was watching the first time, after the first 2 boxes, I turn to Hunter and I say, and 9 rings to the race of men. And then it says, and then there's the box of men. So, of course, we just, like, burst out laughing in the middle of a movie theater. But, like, we have to keep ourselves safe.
That's, like, that's not even, like, oh, it's kind of funny how these things are similar. Like, that's exactly the intro from Lord of the Rings. Like, it's, like, I'm not even, like, it's not even what a strange coincidence, or like, oh, they ripped it off or anything. It's like, no, they just literally, they just did the.
They weren't even subtle about it.
Yeah, like there was no possible way.
Gal Gadot's Themysciran accent thing sounds like Galadriel.
Enough like Galadriel that it like is.
It's like, oh, this is literally the same scene.
Like they could have opened it with that. Opened the movie with that. I guess then she would have still had to explain it to Batman later on. Anyways,
No, they should have not liked each other a lot. I often forget how much the Avengers didn't like each other in the Avengers.
And that's what makes it. That's why when you have that fucking team up shot where it spins all around them is so epic because the whole movie they've been working against each other and now they're finally working together.
No, we're like,
and that's why it's like
Nick Fury puts them together, and Nick Fury is like their villain for part of the movie.
Yeah, they are their own antagonists.
Yeah,
as well as Loki.
Loki just brings it out in them though.
Yeah,
as much he doesn't really do a lot. To
like how
each
great is that in the Avengers is that the main villain's plan is to just make the heroes have conflict enough with each other that they fuck each other up.
That's
like,
what Zemo's plan is.
Yeah, and that also works in that movie.
Yeah.
So like in this one, it's like no, they're also already good guys. So then it doesn't like they are already.
I guess together. Civil War is a great movie when you think about it from that point that you do the Avengers but in reverse.
Yeah, where by the end they're split apart. Like by the end they're not working together.
Yeah, so to do that as two separate stories, that's really and after each other, that's really hard.
Yeah,
they did it.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
but like okay, so my one theory that I wanted to say was I was noticing that like okay, one was gifted to men, and I'm like that's the one that's going to be that gave Cyborg his powers, right?
Yeah.
And so I was thinking,
and then he's like, "Yep, it's right here."
So like, and Batman like had this weird vision, and so like he knows about these things.
He took a bath, and there was lightning everywhere.
Yeah, but like what I mean is like all of them have a connection to the thing.
Yeah.
Except for Barry Allen.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking like, oh, you know, what would be cool because he mentions the Speed Force very briefly. Yeah. I was like, you know, what'd be cool is if like, and the whole idea with like Stephen Wolf and like Darkseid and stuff is like they're considered like the new gods.
Yeah.
And like Wonder Woman is related to the old gods, Zeus and stuff. Mm-hmm. So like, what if when Zeus died, like when the old gods died, like their power just kind of like spread out, and so Zeus's power, like the lightning and stuff, still exists like within the world, and that's the Speed Force, and that's what like Barry is tapping into when he can like run fast.
Oh, so that's how Diana finds him.
Yeah, and that's where in our version where it's Wonder Woman centric, she's like. She notices, like, there's this guy who has like, these lightning powers.
There's a new God of Thunder coming around, and she's like, God of Thunder, how's it going? And then he's like, what? I don't know, I'm just a scientist. I mostly just push people out of the way. Like, he's just like, he's kind of nerdy and stuff. He's like, I don't really know what you're talking about. Like, and then he's like, well, I kind of have this scientific explanation for it. Like, so you
and
so do the Thor thing, right?
You do kind of like the Thor thing where like,
oh,
maybe it's magic,
that lines up with my thing too.
Yeah.
Like, you're like a being who's really powerful because you've got like the speed of Hermes and like
the speed of Hermes.
No, because in the comics, Hermes is canon the speed.
Right. Yeah.
So like that happens in the Lasting.
Yeah. So either way, like there's a connection there.
Yeah.
And like that's how she figures. She's like, hey, I should.
Because the old gods are dead, right? So it's like, oh, I see Hermes' speed and Zeus' lightning in you. Like, you should there's a force that I think you're meant to fight with me.
Yeah.
Because you were gifted with this power and that's what you should do with it. And then Barry's like, well, I'm not really doing anything else, so
I might as well, I guess,
right?
Or so like maybe he's reluctant because like I've never fought fucking aliens before. Like
you want me to, and then she's like, oh,
you got the wrong guy.
She's like, yeah, you ready for the team? And then he's like, yeah, I'm ready. And then she's like, great, let's go fight some aliens. And then he's like, what the hell? What do you mean? I don't know. I thought
we were gonna like stop some muggers or something. I didn't sign up for this. I don't know how to like do that. Like
I got these powers. Like I've had these powers for 6 months, and
I've been me my whole life, and like I can't even get my dad out of prison for something he didn't do. Like how am I supposed to fight? Like like you can
flush out his character.
Actually give him motivate. Like because Batman shows up and he's like, hey, I'm putting a team. I'm in, like instantly. Like
so in this
there's
version,
no conflict.
So
like,
and this is coming off the back of Batman v Superman. Also, like this is a really good Justice League movie we're making right now. So
like. So like what
it was easy.
If they just like
they just had to not underestimate the feminist power of Wonder Woman.
I know, like
because she's just a great character.
Like okay, there's a line where Batman's like, hey, you know what? Like Superman was all about hope and stuff, and you've been around for like 100 years, and you've only been all about hope for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So what's up with that?
What's your deal?
What's up with that? No, it's like, but she is now, and isn't it great that like we finally have a female superhero movie that's good and like people like and like is like a fucking,
in the year Trump got elected, that actually happened as well. That was pretty cool.
Like it's
And like Wonder Woman's a pretty good feel-good movie. Like it's, afterwards, you like feel like hopeful for the
just
world.
feel
and
like
stuff.
good about yourself.
Yeah, you feel good about the world. And, like, even though it's about like one of the like crappiest wars.
Yeah,
it's like, and like those people, like those characters in the movie that suffer from like racism and post-traumatic stress, and like
but it's still like cool and stuff.
Yeah,
and like
Did you catch that? I saw Wonder Woman twice, but there's like the one guy that he gets, like Steve's like first friend or whatever.
Yeah, one of his friends.
Yeah, he's like a fez.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I wanted to be an actor, but
I'm the wrong color.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's such a like, like such like a thing that you would actually say back then. Like, like an actual problem.
Like that's what's cool is like each of the guys, like the Wonder Woman Talent Commandos, all have like a backstory and like a motivation for whatever, and like they have. Which is something that we didn't really get from Captain America's Talent Commandos, which is kind of too bad. But also makes
that's
sense.
why I say Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman's a better movie than the Captain America the first Avenger. Because when I think about when you think about because I remember last time we talked about this, you said Captain America was better because Captain America is like more of like an underdog and stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is that as a whole, Wonder Woman's more consistent. Captain America is a great movie for the first
hour. Yeah.
And then it slowly gets worse and worse.
Yeah, that's true. But
the end is very rushed, and Wonder Woman feels like a more complete story. And as much as the ending is like a CGI slugfest in a fiery dark wasteland, it's almost as if she's fighting the idea of war itself rather than fighting a dude.
Yeah,
and she uses like her fists and lasso for a lot of that part, which she doesn't through the movie, and it's very classic Wonder Woman to use your fists and a lasso. And there's a part where she punches a bunch of guys really fast. That's really cool, like when she goes like Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
It's a good fight. Like
I think it's good, but it's the weakest of the action in that movie.
Yeah.
Like the action. I'll give you the action is way better in Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and there's like one. The action is pretty well paced. Also, there's only like one major action sequence for every act.
Yeah, I think that one of the big things about Captain America: First Avenger is I feel like it gets better with each new movie that Captain America's in.
Yeah,
like this just like
but as a standalone, it's not fair to compare them right now.
That's true. Yeah. I think that like Marvel's so strong, especially with the Russos and like with Winter Soldier and Civil War and stuff like that.
Where he says, "I can do this all day," and it's like, oh, it's like that time that he was like in an alley getting beat up by a bully, and now he's the one protecting Bucky, and it's like, Bucky used to protect him. There's so much to that one line of dialogue because this universe has been built up for 8 years.
Exactly, and that's why I feel like I keep coming back to that movie because like they keep building on it.
Yeah,
and in such like creative and effective like emotional ways too.
Mm-hmm.
Where like we haven't seen that yet with Wonder Woman. I don't know if they'll do that exactly.
I don't think they will.
And also it's different because
I mean, I guess the people in that world have hope, but I don't for DC.
Yeah, like I know. Like it's also weird because like I don't know if you've heard like any news about like future DC movies coming that they're working on and stuff, but like basically what they've kind of decided is like we're not really gonna try cinematic universes because that's too hard. So we're just gonna do like a bunch of standalone movies and try to make them good.
Yeah, no, I heard about like 2 standalone Joker movies.
Yeah, they're like we're not really worried about them being connected or whatever
or good
or we're just gonna try a bunch of shit.
I think it's a bad plan.
Yeah, because it's literally just like, okay, we have all these characters, but we don't know how to. But cinematic universes is too hard, and like making good movies is like making good movies that take place in the same universe is too hard. The universe we set up is like depressing and weird and stupid.
Oh, pick me.
So let's just throw everything at the wall and see which sticks.
So this is a funny story. It's funny because I know you hate this movie. So
it's not Suicide Squad.
It is a little bit, but it's not about that it was there. It's about that it wasn't. So while we were sitting, my first time watching Justice League, while we were waiting for it, there's some people behind us talking, and then one guy's like, "All right, so so movies before us. So there's Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Wonder Woman, Yes, this is the fourth one. And they're like, oh, okay. And then and then on my head, I'm like, wait, there's also Suicide Squad. But that movie's completely
doesn't
inconsequential,
matter
and
at
you
all.
don't need to watch it.
Yep.
And it doesn't do anything, and it's just a garbage movie that I actually forgot about myself until they said that's the fourth one. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Like, I had to think about it for a second.
Yeah, you're like, wait, has there only been 4? Like, let me think about this for a second.
I'm like, no, there was...
No, I feel like there was one more that we're forgetting.
Yeah, no.
And
so,
it's, like, 0 connections to Suicide Squad.
Mhm.
Like, absolutely nothing.
Mhm.
No mention of Amanda Waller at all, like, which you could have done.
Yeah.
Like, Amanda Waller could have been your Nick Fury if they wanted to.
Yeah.
If,
But,
like,
no, but
I
I
would
like
want that.
I like Wonder Woman being the thing.
no, I
We had a good idea there.
I like that idea.
Because what if Amanda Waller was the Nick Fury, she'd just try to put bombs in all their heads.
Yeah.
And she would be
She'd
the
be-
villain of the movie.
She'd be a terrible Nick Fury.
No, she would be. It's like, oh, you have to work together, or I'm gonna blow all of you up. And then Thor would be like, "What the hell? No, how dare you?" And then he'd just get his head blown up. And then Thor would just be headless. Like that's
do you just mean Thor?
like no, I just mean like if like Amanda, like imagine the Avengers is the same movie,
Oh,
but
yeah.
Nick Fury is Amanda Waller. He's a woman and has 2 eyes.
and puts bombs in their heads.
Yeah.
You have to
they all
go
work
fight
together.
Loki.
Like, how would all the Avengers react to that?
Yeah.
Like Captain America would be like, "You're stupid. That's pretty messed up." And then Iron Man would be like, "I don't care. I'm just gonna drink or something." And Hulk would probably get mad. He'd be like, "Oh, I tried to kill myself, so that doesn't mean anything to me."
Yeah, this is not going to blow me up.
Yeah. And
You
then
have nothing on
his head hulks out.
Just
Just a severed head
Just-
hulks out.
Well,
Hops
wouldn't he like Hulk out and then she goes, or either like she goes boom and he just hulks out, or he goes hulks out, then she goes boom and neither of them kill him because
Yeah.
he's the Hulk now.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Well, I mean, well, anyways,
I guess it's in his
I
head.
kind of want to get back to Justice
Yeah, let's
League.
go.
So, something I feel like that just for the future of DC, it's just frustrating because I said this to you when we left the movie. I just feel like DC is like this brain damaged child that's like trying to make Marvel movies. But doesn't really understand what makes Marvel
Right.
movies good. It's like, oh, don't you see? I put all the heroes in it, and there's a bad guy, and he gets there, and he needs a box, and oh, and there's an end credit scene where there's villains, and oh, I did it right. Well, why didn't you like my movie? Like,
Yeah.
where it's just like they just don't understand. Like it's just like I just feel like it's just like these studio executives are like, what are they doing at Marvel? What are they having in the water at Marvel? What's going on? What's going on? And they don't. And the answer is pretty obvious. If you ask any comic book movie fan, they'll tell you, oh, because they have a Kevin Feige.
Yeah, because they have a guy.
Yeah, they have a
charge.
but they don't. The problem is that they don't ask comic book movie fans. I don't think they've asked their demographic or at all
No.
what they want.
Because all of the movies
It's what like
made in a
it's what like
studio.
50-year-olds think teenagers want,
Yeah.
and it's terrible. Like it's just like these weird amalgamations of tone and like
Yeah.
these like just like great characters that you just have to. They're so easy to do, but like they're trying to make them like edgy and like
Yeah, they're true. Like
they're just trying way too hard to do something.
I know, because like, what's okay? If you put like, we're talking about like, oh, this is like the light Avengers, and like it's not as it's the
It's
Avengers,
like-
but not as good and stuff.
It's like the club
What like
soda.
what's the main
Avengers.
thing?
You know what? I need to drink some Coke just
Yeah.
from talking about this.
You know, like what's the main thing
Oh.
that is good about the Avengers? And it's like, oh, because the characters are interesting and good.
Yeah.
And in this, it's like, okay, like I don't even. The only one I really feel like I understand is Wonder Woman
Yeah,
because of her good movie. And, like, no,
and in this movie, she got like an arc and stuff.
yeah, kind of.
I don't remember what it was. I just remember it. I remember it
You have
happening.
to hope. Okay, oh, it was, she had to get over Steve Trevor's
Mhm.
death or whatever, which I guess makes sense. It seemed like she was sort of over that already by
Yeah.
the end of Wonder Woman.
I guess so.
The first Wonder Woman.
No, but I guess it was more about being less of a pushover. I don't know. So, it made sense while I was watching the movie. Okay.
Yeah. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, but like, okay, so Flash is just like kind of nerdy guy. He's the comic relief. All right, that's fine. Aquaman is Drax. That's fine. Even though Drax is a way better Drax than Aquaman was.
Yeah!
Like,
Hot dog!
like if they were gonna go, I bet they didn't know that that's what they were trying to do, and that's why it didn't work. Because if they just went full Drax, he would have been great. If
No,
you-
but Aquaman is usually kind of cheesy, isn't he? Well, I mean, you could do like.
but that's like Drax is cheesy.
No, you could do Aquaman like Thor though.
Yeah, and
He
that's
basically
that's
is
the
Thor.
other thing is he's
Yeah.
all, like Aquaman's a hard character to do. Like that's one of the ones where it's like
No.
it's hard to like figure out exactly what you do with him
I think
because
they-
like the stigma of Aquaman is he's lame.
Isn't he kind of lame?
Isn't he kind of dumb? Doesn't he just talk to fish and
Yeah, so they
stuff?
try to like. I think they
And they
overcorrected.
try
They,
to-
they overcorrected
They-
this movie.
And well, in Zack Snyder, when he was like doing Batman and Superman, he's like, "No, fucking Aquaman's awesome. Like he could beat up Superman. Like he's super badass."
Is that
Really
something
cool.
he said?
He said that in an interview. He's like, "Oh, Aquaman's a fucking badass. He could beat up Superman." Like,
Well, I mean, any comic book reader would tell you that's wrong.
no, but he could punch Superman for a bit and then lose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What's interesting
He's
though?
strong enough
yeah,
that like he could fight him.
yeah. But what I'm kind of disappointed about in that Justice League, as much as that that one scene where they're fighting Superman is great. Wonder Woman could totally take Superman, and that wasn't shown. It was just like
Yeah, it was like, oh,
Superman's better, way better than all of them.
And maybe the idea was like Wonder Woman's holding back, and she's like, "Don't make me do this."
Yeah.
But it seemed like he just kind of brushed her off. Like,
No,
it was
there's a
nothing.
great fight in Injustice between Wonder Woman and Superman at one point, where
Yeah.
they do like a trial by combat,
Oh,
and
okay.
Superman is the champion for the
Her?
for like
Oh, for
the Justice League, but like the evil Justice League,
right.
and then the
Isn't Wonder Woman
and-
on the Evil Justice League?
yeah, the Themyscirans choose Wonder Woman as their champion
Oh, for their
for their champion
Sure.
because they can because
right, because she's still a citizen.
yeah, exactly. And they killed her mother.
right.
So
Okay.
her mother can't be like, her mother was like, no, you can't do this. And they're like, actually we can, and they killed her.
Oh shit! So like
And then they show up on like their door on this doorstep of the Hall of Justice.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I got to that one. Yet.
No, that's like
later, right?
Yeah, it's later. The end of it kind of ends in like a CGI slugfest, but like it's a pretty cool fight though. While it's
Yeah.
happening, they flash back to this part where
Yeah.
Wonder Woman and Superman are like fencing, and it's like a pretty early day of the Justice League, and Superman's like just kind of like more playing it off, like it's like, oh, we're just kind of joke fighting
Yeah,
or whatever, right? And then because like Wonder Woman like stabs him, right? Like
Right.
she's like, oh, I got you, and then Batman's like, oh, Superman, you're like kind of treating this like a joke, and he's like, whatever, man, and then like breaks the sword on his own body. It's just like we're just playing around, and then he's like, and then Batman's like, no, like Superman, I'm dead serious. Like Wonder Woman's like a really good fighter. She could like totally like she could take you. Like,
Yeah.
you have no idea. Like,
Yeah,
I
like,
feel like you don't.
she's a
I feel
warrior.
like you don't take yourself seriously, Superman, because like you could be like you could get your ass kicked if you don't fucking take a fight
Yeah,
seriously.
yeah.
And then Superman's just like, what's his problem? Am I right? And then it comes back to present day, and
Yeah.
Wonder Woman and Superman are fighting now.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Because like it comes down to like it's like well like Superman like he's pretty much invincible like
Mm.
so he should be able to win that fight, but Wonder Woman actually knows how to fight,
Yeah.
where Superman never needed to.
No, that's
So,
that's
like,
what I like. Yeah.
On technique alone,
Yeah.
she should have like at least be on par with him,
Mhm.
and they didn't really show that in the fight, but
Mhm.
like you could maybe argue, oh, she's holding back. Maybe it's kind of hard. Like it's
No,
it's
in
a
the
short-
Injustice fight, she like breaks his arm. Like she's not really holding back.
No, but I mean, in the
Oh yeah, I know. That's what I mean. Is that
Yeah.
like it is arguable
Yeah.
that she's holding back and Superman isn't. So that's why it takes all of them to.
Yeah, because
I believe that a Superman that isn't holding back, versus the rest of the Justice League is a
Yeah.
pretty fair fight.
especially when like they're not a team yet, even though like they've already been working together for the whole movie. But like they're rusty kind of like
if
because
you're not the
Flash.
team, then you don't deserve the suit.
No, but I mean like because like the Flash tries to like outrun him, and then like you get that great moment where he like Superman like looks at him while he's running, and he's like, oh shit, this guy might be as fast as me. And because like, but that's more on like the Flash being like new at fighting people.
Yeah.
So It's a little different
No,
there.
because the Flash at his peak, that would have been a way different situation. Flash at his peak versus Superman at his peak, they know that they're about as fast as each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
I just remembered when Cyborg said "booyah."
you yelled in the
I
theater.
yelled, "Yeah!"
very loudly.
Very
might I add.
so loudly.
It was the loudest thing anyone said
Yeah,
in the whole movie.
And people were like talking and stuff, like
Yeah,
like
Oh,
through
yeah.
the whole movie.
Yeah, it was a pretty normie crowd.
It was a very normal, and also there's a lot of little kids and
yeah,
stuff too.
yeah.
so,
Which I mean,
that's
I
fine.
think this was a movie that you could take little kids to. There's enough.
Yeah, no one like gets like stabbed through the face or like
no, it's not like Batman v Superman. I
Yeah.
wouldn't take kids to see Batman
no,
v
because that was like,
Superman.
oh shit, my hero just got stabbed to death.
There's a big hole in his S.
He's supposed to be for hope, and he just got fucking stabbed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand
That
why.
one's like dark and depressing.
You know what'd be cool?
The Waynes get like shot in slow motion, and it's like super over dramatic.
Okay, you know what would have been?
Yeah.
You know what would have been cool? I think there should have been a moment where Superman, like after he like kind of comes back or whatever, like when he's like on the farm and stuff. I think that sequence should have been a little longer. I know Joss Whedon probably wanted a longer farm scene.
Oh, he's
But-
all about those farms.
Yeah, but they needed a 2-hour runtime, so I understand why it was the length it was. But you
Yeah.
could have had a longer sequence almost where Clark is like kind of like he's like in the bathroom or something, and he's got like his flannel on, and then he like unbuttons it and notices that he has like a scarf where he got like stabbed in the chest, and he's like, "Oh shit, I died! Like what the hell is up?" And he starts having like a panic attack, and then Lois like calms him down and shit.
Okay,
That would've-
so I have many things to say about this.
yeah,
So, the one thing that I kind of like about Man of Steel and Batman v Superman is that Superman is just Jesus,
Mhm.
and they follow all of the Jesus beats.
except for the hole in his hands.
Exactly.
Yeah,
In this one,
they should
when he
have
comes
that.
back, they just bring him back. He's not Jesus anymore.
Mm-mm.
What?
Oh, but he comes out of a tomb.
No. See, what it should have been is they dig him up and they open the casket and he's not there. The stone is rolled away and the body is not there. Like, they could have
They
done...
have the dirt pebbles, so I mean that makes sense, and that adds up with the comic book.
Yeah, and then, like, they're like, shit, well, where is he? And then, like, he wakes up from, like, a Kryptonian, like, thing in, like, the
Yeah.
Fortress of Solitude, and there's, like, that one robot that's usually there is like, yeah, so you fucking died, pretty much. But, like...
But Kryptonians don't really
'cause
die; they just kind of go into
yeah,
this like
Because
sleep
and
thing.
also because like Kryptonian technology, we can pretty much bring you back.
yeah.
So we did
He's
that,
like, wait, how did I get here? It's like, oh well,
and like, or you just have Jor-El there, and he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, so like,
yeah, we kind of just grabbed your body.
Yeah.
You weren't in control of your body, but you kind of like tunneled underground for a long time.
yeah, or like he just he
something
just
like
did
that.
it or something.
Yeah, he like
Because like one, he doesn't have the scar, which is like would have been so
it
cool.
would have been. It would have been on his chest. I know
Yeah.
it's different than like the stab wound. on
You know, but it's
his side.
close enough
Yeah.
that it's like, oh, okay, because Jesus was also stabbed in the
Mhm.
chest, and so he had a scar there and shit, and he had the holes in his hands as well. But like, if you set up the first like 2 acts of Jesus' story, why not do the final
So
one?
this could still be
Especially
part
when
of our Justice League movie.
Oh, the one we're rewriting?
Yeah,
Is you just like, oh yeah, he's fucking Jesus.
Yeah.
Because like, this is the moment.
Then, you have the moment where so then you do basically the movie plays out the same way, and then they can't find the
But they
body.
can't- and they're like, oh, shit,
no!
well, I
And
guess
then
we'll
have to fight it.
have to fight him by ourselves.
And then the moment where Steppenwolf's got them all on the ropes. Doesn't have
Yeah.
to be Steppenwolf, but just for the sake of
Yeah,
just
whatever.
quick fixes.
It's Loki. It's whatever.
Superman shows up in the black suit with a gun, and he's got a mullet.
He's got a
He's got
mullet.
the super mullet.
Yeah.
And then he like shoots Steppenwolf in the face, and he's like, "Stay away from my Earth or friends or something."
Stay away from my super friends.
He says something cheesy.
Yeah. I stand for truth and
and
justice. League.
He looks directly in the camera.
Yeah, and he smiles at the camera and winks. But like, because here's my problem with the way they brought it back.
Yeah.
Is it's like, oh, so if we just use the mother box and the Kryptonian thing, we can bring him back.
Yeah.
Doesn't that mean they can bring anyone back then? because
He was Kryptonian, so it makes sense.
we just flip the switch. We just flip the switch on the mud box from Kryptonian to human, and we can bring anyone back.
I saw Man of Steel 3 times in theaters.
Yeah.
So I remember this thing.
Yeah.
So Superman's body has the Codex in it.
Right.
Would the Codex become a part of the ship again after they do that? Would a bunch of little babies start to come out of the ship? Because
like
the jump start.
the whole thing about Superman is he's special, but there's nothing special about him being brought back in this movie.
Yeah.
It's not like he gets brought back because he's Jesus. It's not like he gets brought back because he's fucking Superman and you can't kill him. You can't kill Hope. Like, it's none of those things.
No.
It's just, you bring him back because the alien thing
That
brought
would
him
have been a better
back.
line, and then maybe someone else like, "Oh, I thought you were dead," and he's like, "Oh, I hate to disappoint you, but you can't kill Hope."
Yeah.
And then-
Or
it's like your car keys.
it's like your car. Oh, I want to get to that in a minute.
And then that brings back as much as it brings back that one scene from the beginning that with the iPhone. That doesn't have to be in the movie at all, but
that would
have been a cool moment.
I want to touch on that in a sec because one other thing that I wanted to say about him bringing back because it's like so you can just bring back anyone at this point, so there's no stakes. Firstly, secondly, why doesn't Wonder Woman want to bring back Steve Trevor?
His corpse is probably all rotten now.
Yeah, but if you just put some Kryptonian goo on him,
he's a skeleton. There's nothing you can do with that. How does she know she has the right one? He might have been like the one
that says Steve Trevor.
His body was exploded. I think it was disintegrated.
You can
I didn't think she went looking for his skeleton.
You can find the pieces
after the climax of
Wonder Woman. Frankenstein them back together, but that's sort of it could happen, right? Because now it's just you can bring back anyone pretty much. Because it wasn't because he was Kryptonian that he was able to come back. It was just because we put him in this thing and we zapped him with the mother box.
We pushed the button.
we pushed the little button. Flash, put a little lightning in it, and
wait, what happened to the mother boxes? Because they separate them and then it explodes, and then they're just gone. Are they still? Did they all get destroyed?
Ooh,
the Tesseract got put away at the end of.
They had to lock it up and put it in.
Yeah, but
no,
Danny. Danny. This movie made it very clear that in order to do the bad guy thing, you got to put the three pieces of Lego together. And he did it once before, but then his plan got ruined. So they separated the three pieces.
And they were just separate now.
They were put away.
Okay, we got to hide these.
So are they just all sitting in the nuclear reactor?
I guess so.
Because they didn't go back for them. They just stood on the top of it and they're like, "Oh, look at all the flowers."
This dumb.
You know what I said to Hunter when we first saw that? I'm like, because they say we did it, and and I turned on to him like, we destroyed another city. And then they're looking at it, and Superman says, "I wouldn't want to miss this." And it was perfect.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, so when we saw the iPhone scene at the beginning of the movie where it's like, "Hey, Superman," and it sounded like Finn Wolfhard for a second. Oh, you're so cool, Superman. One, that's zero hope. That's nothing like Superman from Man of Steel or Batman v Superman. That one would never pose for a picture. He would fucking look sad and then fly away. But two, when I turned to you and I said, "Oh, it's like Thor Ragnarok," because to me, they were straight out making fun of Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. He's like, "Does that S really stand for hope?" And he's like, "Yeah, because hope is like a winding river, and it's like losing your car or whatever the shit he said." And it was like, and they're like, "Yeah, but that's kind of dumb." And that's an S. It doesn't they did that kind of joke again where and
S,
so they're
hope doesn't start with S.
Hope doesn't start with an S, that kind of thing where it's like, "Hey, look at Superman. You're kind of dumb, Superman." and it was
and he says, "Yes, I am, kids. Yes, I am."
But it was like it felt. Then when he comes, one of the things I did like about this movie was Superman, because when he came back, it was like, "Hey, it's the Superman we've been missing for the last 2 movies."
Yeah.
There he is, and I knew that, and I was like, "Oh, okay, Henry Cavill can play a pretty good Superman. Yeah. You just have to write him as Superman."
It's not hard. So he's not a bad actor. He's never has been.
No, you just needed to actually write him like Superman, and then it works. Wow, who would have thought? Just put him in a Superman movie.
Okay. I know this is a completely other thing.
Sure,
it goes back to.
I shut it about most of
it goes back to
the whole death. This goes back to our rewrite and like his resurrection and stuff.
Yeah.
I think when he comes back and stuff, they should be like, oh, we made you like this special suit for like when you're like weak and stuff. It's like black and edgy because you're still weak, so it's like a little more armored and like to help you retain your power and stuff. And like black like attracts the sun and stuff.
Yeah, so it'll help you absorb
the radiation. And that's what Russell Crowe says that to him. And then he's like, "Thanks, Dad," or "Thanks, Space Dad." Yeah, and then so that's a scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. Yeah. So basically, I guess our movie plays out mostly the same way.
Yeah, the actual plot doesn't really change that much. It's just like the characters.
And then the last scene of the movie would be him or one of the last scenes, part of the resolution would be him seeing Lois and his mom again.
Yeah. And you have like a more real scene other than how'd you get to pay off the bank? I bought the bank. It's like
and then it freeze frames and it starts playing the Seinfeld. Damn, what a good Justice League I just saw.
Yeah. And then there's the part you want to talk about the Lois Lane writing about. Hope is not when we don't have darkness.
I don't even know what she's talking about.
It was complete nonsense.
It is complete nonsense.
That's total bullshit nonsense.
See what I mean by
darkness isn't the absence of light. It's when you don't think that you can hope again, but it turns out you can hope again because the Justice League is back or here or something. And they cut to all the characters. They're all doing things, but none of the things they're doing are interesting or relevant to the arcs or anything, or set up anything cool. They could have that because that could have been the moment where it's just supposed. I think it was just supposed to be them driving away in the cars moment from Avengers.
But they don't use the song from Fast Five, so it doesn't work.
Yeah.
They should have just done the Fast Five thing, and Gal Gadot would have just chewed him.
Yeah, suddenly she's sitting on Batman's lap in his Batmobile,
and they're making out.
And he's
and then he's Tokyo, baby.
And she's like, I want to go. So what? We're going to Tokyo next. And he's like, yeah.
I feel like that's going to be part of the cover of this Nothing Cast. Is you're gonna put Ben Affleck's face on Juan from or Han. Yeah.
His name's actually Han Solo. If you look in the credits, it's Han. SAOEHLO or something like that. His name is Han Solo. That's just
That's really funny.
Yeah. And he's also a character from a short film that Justin Lin directed before Tokyo Drift.
So that's in continuity
with the Fast and Furious movies now.
Yeah.
I love that kind of shit.
Yeah, Tokyo Drift's kind of interesting. Because it's Star Wars but with cars.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember the on this trailer it was Car Wars Episode 3: Revenge of the Drift. That's what it was. And so it's got the element where the master dies and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's almost they released A New Hope and then they released the prequel trilogy right after.
Yeah.
So this is the adventures of him before he died.
Oh yeah, true. Because then the next one they're here's how Diesel met Han.
Yeah. It's how did Luke meet Han? And then Yoda shows up and says, "I knew him," and that's how A New Hope ends.
Yeah. That's actually kind of cool. See, that's what's interesting. That's what's crazy about the Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious franchise is a better Star Wars saga than Star Wars. I hate to say it, but as a whole, it's more tonally consistent, and
the quality is more consistent.
Yeah. I say it's kind of weird. The Fast and Furious movies, I'd say about half of them are better than the prequels of Star Wars, and half to most of them, and then the rest are in between. Most of them are in between the prequels of Star Wars and the original trilogy of Star Wars.
In terms of quality?
Quality, yeah.
Yeah, and also they know by the fifth one they we know what we are. We're not trying to be anything else. We're not going to try to be anything more than just a fun, crazy action movie.
So I guess by 4 they were slated for at least 2 more movies because 4 ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And then they've released a movie every 2 years.
Every couple of years
since then. No, 2 years exactly.
Right, right.
2011, 2013. Because 4 is 2009. 4.
Yeah, it was
4
around
was
there.
2009.
Because
5 was
was
2011. 6 was 2013. 7 was 2015. 8
Was
was
it?
2017.
Is that right? Oh, yeah.
So it was
Wait,
2
8
years.
was this year?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't
It was like
remember.
May or something.
I feel like it was last year, wasn't it?
No, it was this year.
I don't remember
It
seeing
was
it this
during.
year.
No, we did see it this year. It was during.
What?
Think about when you were in FMTV year 1.
That was last year.
Yeah.
Is that what it was? But May this year was Guardians, and I don't remember seeing
Okay, it might have been like
Fast 8 around there.
June or something. I'm just gonna look it up.
Oh no, you're right. It has to be. It has to be because I know this because it has to be this year because this was the this was the first summer that I wasn't dating my girlfriend,
Yeah,
and she was a big fan of those movies. So and I didn't see it with her, so that's how I know.
yeah. There you go. I saw it with you
So
because we saw
Right.
Furious 7 with her.
Yeah.
And we saw Fast 8 without her. So
yep, there's the timeline. Now it makes sense.
there's see the timeline.
The
You have to
timeline is
use-
I was dating her from Fast 6 to Fast 7. Now the internet knows.
Thanks, internet. Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to mention about Justice?
Oh. There's a stupid bit with the family.
Yeah. There's just like this dumb family that's there and you don't care.
It's pretty easy to edit
And
around.
it was like clearly a Zack Snyder scene that they left in for some reason.
It's a very black movie, I think. It's very passable, but I think that's not a good thing.
Yeah, like all the reviews and stuff I've seen were like, I didn't hate it. And, like, not as bad as I thought it was
Mr.
going
Sunday
to be.
Movies is called Justice League Review, brackets, not the worst.
Yeah, and like it sucks that like
Not a
that's
good
where
sign.
everyone's expectations was, and so like that's where like people are like, it wasn't that bad because like they were expecting it to be trash. So like the fact that it was like fine was like
People are like, whoa!
enough to be satisfied, enough for people to be satisfied.
Oh, that is kind of sad.
I still don't think it's doing that well on the box office. Like I can't remember the last thing I said. Which is
Last I
good.
checked, they were doing like they reached like 200 and something, like 24 million
Really?
worldwide.
Oh, worldwide. So that's not that good.
Because that's close
they
to
should-
breaking even.
Yeah, because they should be making that here, like domestically.
No, didn't Avengers make like 200 million opening weekend?
Yeah, like 250 million like opening weekend, and at the time it was the biggest opening weekend ever.
What's topped it since?
Star Wars.
7?
Yeah, Star Wars 7 did. I think Jurassic World topped that.
But why? It's just Jurassic World.
I don't know. People just liked it. It was like, oh, because we like Chris Pratt now. And there was enough like callbacks to the originals, and it was like, oh, I want to see Chris Pratt on a motorcycle with a Raptor. And apparently that was enough. That was enough. That was the missing ingredient
I feel like
to a
Batman.
box office success.
No, what's weird about Batman v Superman though is that like almost like I felt like right away people were telling me it was terrible before the movie was out.
Yeah, because there was a lot of the reviews came in and it was like not doing well critically. So like there was a lot of concern going into it and stuff like we saw Doomsday in the trailer and like oh
Yeah,
what?
well, it was almost every scene.
Yeah,
in the trailer.
they show basically everything.
Well, they did that for Man of Steel as well. So I think it's just a Snyder situation.
Yeah, but like
Where it's like where Zack Snyder's like, I want to put Superman in the Justice League. They're like, no, Zack Snyder, stop right there. And then he's like, I want to put no. This is what happened.
Yeah.
He's like, can we just get that clip of Superman in the trailer? Wait, I'm getting a call from my wife.
Oh no. No, see,
That's
like,
what happened.
that's what's weird. Like, because going into this movie, I was like, I knew Superman was going to come back, but like, I felt the marketing was so weird to not have Superman on your Justice League poster. And I know it's because it's like it's a big, like it's the main spoiler of this movie. Even though like pretty much everyone knew he was gonna come back already, but like it's just so weird because like it'd be like well, this is maybe not the best example because there's many iterations.
It would
But,
be like Luke
it'd be like
not having his hand cut off on the Empire poster.
No, it'd be like it's like putting okay, we're doing X-Men and you don't have Wolverine on the poster, and it's like X-Men 2 or something.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like Apocalypse because he's not on that poster.
Yeah, but Superman was a big part of this movie.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't do much in the third act. Like
He shows.
I'm
he
right here.
shows up and he's like,
I'm here to fight Steppenwolf. The civilians! And then he comes back. I'm here to fight Steppenwolf. Then Cyborg's like, help me split these boxes apart.
Yeah,
And then
like basically he just shows up and wins. But like, yeah, that should do. Like, because like of course, like as soon as they bring him back, it's like, well, of course he's gonna save the day now. If they went into the battle thinking like, oh, we're not gonna win this because they didn't think it was back, like when
we were writing it.
Yeah. That would be cool.
That would have been a better movie than the movie we got.
Yeah, lots of things would have been a better movie than the movie we got.
Oh well.
What were we saying? Oh, something. Yeah, I just think it's weird that like it was just weird to me like, because like Justice League should be huge. It should be a huge, amazing event.
It should be an event.
It should be bigger. It should be bigger than the Avengers.
It was a movie.
But we still haven't, like, I feel like we still haven't got that hype from the first Avengers movie. That same, like, level of
that same, like,
just fun, amazing time at the
midnight screening.
Yeah, like, so hype. Like, everyone was loving it.
Like, I remember
there was 5 years of build up.
We dressed up, and
we dressed up.
We weren't the only people dressed up.
No, it was awesome.
Like, the only time that's happened to me in my life.
We've gone to a movie dressed up, like, the opening night, and not have. And other people be dressed up as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I feel like if you went to Force Awakens opening night... Did you see Force Awakens opening night? I didn't. I saw it, like, a week later.
I think I saw it on...
Because I was at college still, so I didn't have a chance.
I'd have to look through, like, old, like, messages and stuff to figure out when I saw it. It must have been, I must have saw it, like, that Saturday or Sunday. Because I remember there was a couple days where I had to, like, boycott the internet.
Yeah, I was offline for like a week because I was still at college then, and I didn't want to just go see it alone. And so like I was still finishing like my last week of like classes, and I'm like I can't just like.
No, I left my calendar at home. I had a calendar where I wrote down when I saw The Force Awakens on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to check back. But yeah, like it was just weird to me to be like, oh, I'm not excited at all for the Justice League movie because it doesn't look like the Justice League, and also
it just looks like another okay DC movie.
Yeah, and it should be like amazing.
Well, it's because DC's just trying too hard to be Marvel. I think maybe what DC,
but also they're not trying hard enough because they keep like fucking up.
I think
like, if they gave it more effort, like they probably would be.
Okay, yeah, I think
they actually put effort into storytelling. Character development.
I think it's just the problem is that DC made really good movies until Marvel was successful.
Oh, like The Dark Knight and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, there was the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
There was, like, all the, like, I remember...
Green Lantern.
No, not Green Lantern, but, like, I remember...
Superman Returns.
Dan.
Catwoman.
Dan, hear me out for just a second.
Yeah.
So, I watched the Honest trailer for Captain America, the 1990 Captain America.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come back to a day when all the Marvel movies were trash and DC ruled the box office with Superman and Batman.
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of weird. Those two things, they just kind of flipped, didn't they? They flipped, didn't they? And the thing was that the reason why Superman and Batman and the frickin' 6 Batman, 7 Batman, 8 Batman movies they made, I don't know how many, they've made a lot of Batman movies, okay? But the reason that those old Superman and Batman movies worked because they just wanted to tell a story.
Yeah.
And they didn't care if they were in the same universe or not.
I think what fucked over DC was like one, oh, we gotta catch up to Marvel now because they're making all the money off these like characters that people didn't even care about before they had movies, and we should be making millions because we have Batman and Superman. But like the other thing I think fucked them up was The Dark Knight, because they're like, oh, we like, which was one.
That was what comic book movie. That's what comic book movies.
That's what
said.
people
They said,
thought.
oh, the best comic book movies this year were Iron Man and The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight was like way better, and like it's the best movie ever, and it was just like
And
crazy
so
hype, and it's still there. I'm surprised with how much hype The Dark Knight still has.
still has like people still fucking love that movie.
And they shouldn't.
Well,
they really shouldn't.
I think it's good though.
It's good, but it's not great. I think.
I just don't. I think it's really great. I just don't
Yeah.
think it's the best movie.
No, it's not like
it's not like
it's not top 10.
it's not like Citizen Kane or
It's not like people
you know.
say. Not only is it a good comic book movie, but it's like it's a great movie and it's a great crime drama. And like today in film class, it got brought up somehow, and then I'm like, you know what? I think Batman Begins is better. And then the one girl I was talking to, she's like, really? I'm like, yeah. And then I explained this. She's like, I'm like, it's a better movie from start to finish. The Dark Knight's plot doesn't really make any sense. She's like, well, what are you talking about? And I explained the thing where I'm like, if the Joker's plan is to, okay, this is correct, right? So the Joker's plan is to try to assassinate the mayor because he knows that Commissioner Gordon will jump in front of him and then fake his death. So that way, when Batman doesn't kill the Joker, Commissioner Gordon can come back from the dead and arrest Joker at that precise moment, so that he can break out of prison later.
all to
And then like the people who
so that
Yeah.
when he's in prison he can have Harvey Dent and Rachel kidnapped and put them both in different locations and have a bomb next to them, so that when Batman's interrogating him, he can tell him where Rachel and Harvey Dent is, but give them the wrong addresses, so he has to save Harvey Dent instead of Rachel. But just in the nick of time that Rachel dies,
and then Harvey Dent gets half his face burned
off, so that he goes crazy and becomes Two-Face to prove.
So he gets crazy and becomes Two-Face. So the Joker knows that he's crazy, so he gives him a gun, but banks on the fact that he won't get killed, so that way he can do the third act of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, so the whole plot is nonsense, basically. As soon as you start pulling a thread, it just fucking...
It's like one of those shirts from like Bugs Bunny, where it just keeps going, and the whole shirt is just gone. And Batman Begins has a couple stupid things, but as a whole, it's like suspend your disbelief, and the movie works.
Yeah,
but it's like the microwave emitter. That's kind of dumb, and like Batman didn't actually have to fight Ra's al Ghul when they were
on the train. Yeah,
on the train.
The plan was just to blow up the train.
But it's like part of like his arc or whatever. So like
you still have to have the fight with the villain on like the rooftop. Or,
and it's cool that it's cool that it's on a train. So like, you know,
you're waiting for a train.
Christopher Nolan likes his trains.
Gotta have a train. Dunkirk train.
No,
Inception train.
That was like
Batman Begins train. I think that's all of them. Is there any more that have a train in them? Is there a train in Interstellar? It's a spaceship. That's kind of like a space train. I think that's all the trains. Well, some of his movies have trains.
Okay, I think that the honest trailer for Dunkirk is going to call it something like boats, planes, and automatic machine guns.
Yeah, you're probably pretty close.
Yeah,
because I
called it.
Call it a pun based on another movie that has some similar idea.
November 21st, 10:20 p.m. Patrick Duff called Dunkirk at the end of the honest trailer boats, planes, and automatic machine guns.
Yeah. So like what I meant about The Dark Knight.
Oh, there's a train at the end of Dunkirk.
Yeah, I said Dunkirk. I one of the ones with trains.
Yeah, I forgot that. Sorry. Trains, boats.
But like,
trains.
what I wanted. Can I say like
boats,
what I wanted to mention about
trains, planes, and automobiles? I said that. Sorry, what did you want to say about The Dark Knight?
Well, I think what fucked DC over was like how much critical acclaim and stuff people gave The Dark Knight and like it's a dark realistic version of
then it went to their head.
Superman movie, and so they're like, oh, like this is what we should make superhero movies. Like, it shouldn't be like the comics. It should be a realistic, dark take. And that's when...
I mean, Superman, Batman.
So that's when they made Man of Steel. They're like, oh, we're going to do The Dark Knight, but for Batman, but for Superman.
We're gonna get David S. Goyer, and we're gonna get
Nolan to produce it.
and we're gonna get Hans Zimmer score.
Yeah. And so, like...
Yeah.
And then from there, it was like, well, now we want to make a franchise, but we've set up a dark, realistic version of of the universe and the characters. And it's like, but like Marvel was never trying to do that. What Marvel was doing was, we're going to make the characters basically like how they are in the comics.
A little more relatable.
A little more realistic, like give it the movie version of what they are in the comics. And then just like do that and like put them in movie and like tell good stories with them.
Yeah.
And like, first and foremost, like make good characters. And so like, and like DC barely is now realizing that with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And like a little bit in this, because like Joss Whedon was probably like, hey, you know what's cool about Superman? Not that he's like fucking sad and depressed all the time, but he's like a nice, happy person who invokes like hope in people because he always does the right thing, not because he's like sad about it. And like, hey, you know what would be fun about like this character? And like and so like yeah. But it's kind of too little too late at this point.
I think DC can be compared to the like homeless guy at the beginning of this movie. He's got like the cardboard sign that says "I tried." It's so sad and hilarious at the same time, and it really
that's the warning. That's the warning for this movie, like saying we tried. We tried to make.
We're sorry.
We tried to make a Justice League movie. Like that, I bet. Like, oh, you know that one shot where it's the guy fucking flipping the apples in slow motion. I'm like, oh, so much Zack Snyder grossness.
Oh, I know. But what's interesting that I noticed about that scene is this might sound like a clickbaity thing. There's more to this scene than you might realize, Danny. Because in that scene, it's like a couple cops pulling like two white guys off of like a Muslim family.
Yeah, so it's trying to be like political and topical.
Yeah.
Relevant.
No, but it's like I can see that actually happening more so than the other way around. I think that's way more likely to happen in America.
Oh, it's exactly what's happening in America right now.
I know. That's why it's great. I think it's an interesting...
Does it have anything to do with this movie?
Oh,
about superheroes
it's about how
punching aliens?
The idea of that montage at the beginning is to show like how there's just no hope.
Yeah, but like this is not our world, so it doesn't matter if it's relevant.
That's true.
And
no,
also, there's so much hope in this movie.
Yeah.
This movie is nothing but hope.
No.
Batman is more hopeful than he's
like, remember
ever
that
been.
last movie? Remember how sad that was? Yeah. Strap in for more jokes.
And like that's
just kidding.
Like that's
She's
what's
back.
That's what's like weird about this one is like they're all like, oh man, if only there was hope. Like when Superman was here, Superman was there, and no one had hope. No one was less hopeful than Superman when he was around. So what are you talking about? If only he was here and we had hope again. And like that's the main like thing with this one is like you're stuck in this stupid universe where everything is wrong. And so like when they try to do the actual Justice League, you're just like, what is happening? Like it's just like, oh man, this was way better when it was the Avengers. So just watch the Avengers.
That's the moral of the story.
Who's the most boringest Avenger?
Oh, that's a hard question because they're all so interesting. I see in the first Avengers, it's I was gonna say Hawkeye, but then he's got that thing where he's like, oh no, what did I do while I was mind controlled? And that's super interesting.
So it's at least that. Yes, at least that. I would maybe argue. I almost want to argue Captain America.
Yeah.
So it's like watching the Avengers if everyone was Captain America. And
but they were like different kinds of Captain America.
But they were like slightly different shades of Captain America.
Yeah, because Captain America's like
was
white,
a female
Captain
Captain America.
He's like lawful good. Like,
yeah. and one of them was Drax, but not as good, and one of them was I'm the funny Captain America. Yeah, they're just like different. I'm the Captain America that's also Drax. I'm the Captain America that's also the funny one, and like I'm the female Captain America, and I'm the dead Captain America. And that was this movie. I'm the Captain America without powers. Like that was. I'm the Captain America that's Hawkeye, and also Nick Fury for some reason. That was this movie. Maybe that's a bad analogy, but I like trying to like. This movie was this movie if it was this instead. It's an easy way to pitch. You got any other thoughts, feelings, opinions? What else would we change in our rewrite of the movie?
I think we gotta figure out how to wrap it up.
Okay, so one, I think you pretty much wrap it up like how the Avengers wraps up.
So would you keep the villain, or would you take a villain from another movie? Well, I guess we don't have any other good villains, because Suicide Squad was just like garbage.
Yeah, see, like that's the thing, is none of the characters in Suicide Squad are interesting and you want to see them.
Lex Luthor's in prison.
I say keep it.
Keep Steppenwolf?
Yeah, and
It's so
have...
boring. He's just CGI nothing.
But Loki him up, so put him, like, give him more of a connection to Wonder Woman.
Where her parents or something banished him, or more like a personal connection.
Maybe
it's like
maybe back in the you do from the animated Wonder Woman movie. So back in the day, him and Wonder Woman's mom had a thing for a bit. They were, and then he turned bad, and so she's like, well, I have to fight you and stuff now. So there's a connection there,
or it could be that yeah, it could be that him and Zeus were good pals, and then he wanted to and then the story that she's told is that he turned bad, and then Zeus was like, you're dumb, and banished him and shit.
Yeah.
But then later she talks to her about it. She's like, oh, your parents never told you the truth about me. She's like, yeah, they did. They told me enough. They told me that you're bad and stuff. And then he's like, actually, I just wanted to go to the human world and help people and stuff. But they said that was dumb. That the gods should stay here.
Right.
And then she's like, oh shit, I relate to that a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, but it's too late. I'm too far gone now. I'm the villain. So then Wonder Woman almost sees this duality to herself, where there's almost that you could have that join the dark side moment where she starts to
I feel like they sort of did that in Wonder Woman already a little bit. That's the other thing I'm a little worried about is how.
No. But Dan. Here's the thing: is that the rest of the movie isn't like Wonder Woman at all.
Right. That's true. That's a good point.
And if it is another Wonder Woman movie, then who cares?
That's fine.
Wonder Woman's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know why people complain about The Force Awakens. I guess it's I wanted something more original. I guess it's yeah, but
no, you didn't, because the prequels were original.
They were absolutely
and
original.
no one liked those.
No.
So you're wrong when you say you wanted something more original.
Yeah.
And because we got that and it was bad.
Yeah.
That's the thing is it's well every story is.
remember how every Nothing cast ends with us talking about Star Wars?
Yep, pretty much. But the other thing I think would be cool is at the end, one you in Justice League.
Okay.
It's one you have the actual the Avengers Assemble moment.
Oh yeah.
Where instead of
it's when Superman shows up, and they're all standing there, and they stand in formation, and they do a 6-way high five, and Aquaman misses. It says, "Oh, splash!"
And instead of doing the spinny shot of all of them, you do the where they're walking towards the camera in slow motion.
And they start walking towards the villain, and then they
they take formation basically,
and then they all shoot their lasers at him or something. I don't know, something cheesy, something fun.
Yeah,
something where you do it
and you're like, yeah.
Okay, so you do it the end of the end of Scott Pilgrim, where Knives and him are fighting Gideon, but less with the parts where it's a bunch of still frames of them punching him and stuff, but more where it's it's like, oh, Superman punches, then Wonder Woman slashes, and then Batman punches, like that, where it's just they're all like doing that, and then eventually like they like push him off a cliff or something, and then like
a strong man is stronger alone. That's the opposite.
And then Wonder Woman's like,
you're right, a strong man is
like,
stronger.
and then Wonder Woman like has to like is the one who like because she's basically the main character of this movie. She's the one that does like the final blow, and, like stabs him like through the chest kind of thing, and then he's like, oh, I'm like dying and stuff, and then she's like, and then they kind of have like a moment there where he's like, you could be me, you know, there's nothing stopping you from being me one day, and then she's just like, I'm nothing like you, and then like cuts off his head, and then everyone's like, whoa, what was that all about? And then she's like, it's all good, guys. I'm a good guy. Don't you worry about it. I believe in like hope and shit. Don't worry.
Well,
so then it sets up even more development for her.
For later on.
For later on, if you want to have her go against the Justice League, you can almost do you can almost set up Injustice that way if you wanted to.
Yeah, like here's the other thing is like we should say what the end credit scene should be also. Because we mentioned what should be before. But like the other thing, no, but like what I was saying, where it's like, oh, you just need a guy in shadows reveal, which they didn't do, and then but the other thing is like that end scene where Lois Lane is like, and we should blah blah blah. Hope is like not what darkness is or something. Like that scene where you have everyone tying together and stuff. You could just do the Avengers driving away in car scene, or like you could actually set up cool things for the characters and for this universe that you're supposedly doing. Like, how about you show what happened to the Green Lanterns? Because like you just mentioned one briefly in the Lord of the Rings intro, which was cool. But then it's like, oh, but like, you know, we don't want to risk it too much. And like, how about you like set up a Flash villain for like his movie? How about you show like how Aquaman's doing now that he's like wants to be part of Atlantis again, and like stuff like that. But it was like mostly just kind of like, they just kind of, you know, Aquaman swims, Flash runs, Wonder Woman is taking a selfie with someone. It's like, okay, that's fine, I guess. But yeah, like, do you want to touch on the end credit scene briefly?
I think it's more like we're coming back to the disabled child here.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, it's like very it insults your intelligence, but tries to make you feel smart at the same time.
Yeah.
So, like, instead of just doing, like, the teaser thing, it's like, oh, here's, like, because while we were watching it, there's a couple people like, oh, it's Deathstroke. But then there were, like, 6 more different shots of Deathstroke in the thing. Because there's a shot of him, I've seen this twice now, so there's a shot of him from behind where it's kind of out of focus, and you see, like, the little headband things, and you see the 2 swords. Mm-hmm. And then it's a wide shot of him on the small boat, going to the big boat. And then there's a wide shot of him, and then there's like a slow motion shot of him walking up the stairs. And there's a shot of him walking into the room and sitting down. Yeah. And then there's a shot of him taking off the helmet.
And all this shit. Where like, and then the big reveal end shot is, we're doing another movie. Like that's what the reveal is. Where in every Marvel one, like we were talking about this, the reveal is who the next character is, or like a hint at what the next story is going to be.
Yeah, like,
and it's cool because the scene is building and building and building, and there's like something that you know is going to get revealed, and you're like, what is it? What is it? Who's this character? What's it going to be?
Oh, I should say first Thor again. The first Thor's got the bit where everyone tries to pick up the hammer and like.
Yeah, the first Thor is pretty great.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
And like in Iron Man 2, at the end, you just like there's this long shot of Coulson driving through the desert, and you're like, where's he going? What's happening? He gets out, sir, we found it, and it's just, and you're just like, what did they find? What did they find?
Over, it's a really wide shot.
Yeah, hands down, and it's the hammer, and you're like, oh, Thor, yeah, this is awesome.
Gonna get Thor, and it's gonna be great.
If your big reveal is Deathstroke, then show briefly. Okay, Lex Luthor's broken out of jail. That's fine.
Yeah,
he's on a boat. He's talking to some guy in the shadows. Yeah. Maybe you see the one part of his face that's not the eye patch.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, if Superman's back and blah, 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 isn't it about time we have a league of our own, whatever line you want to do. Whatever stupid little fucking Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor line you want to do.
Isn't it time we have a social network of our own?
And then,
did the Phoenix punch Superman? I have to go kill Superman.
Wait, what are you talking about?
It's the Social Network. Okay. He's like mad. He's like jealous of Eduardo because he gets punched by the Phoenix.
Oh right.
Or that's basically like the club saying,
yeah.
"Oh, we're interested in you."
Right.
And he's like jealous of that, but he never lets on. And he never admits, but he shows it. It's so great. That's a great movie.
No, that was pretty great.
Yeah.
But the part, yeah. So like, you have the guy. He's in the shadows. You're like, oh, who's it gonna be? And then, I better one. I'm interested in your thing as long as you get to fucking kill Oliver Queen. Get me off this island. It's me, Deathstroke. But I'm Joe. What's his name? This time.
I'm Joe Mangold.
You see the eye patch, and then you like cut to a shot of the helmet, and you're like, oh shit, it's Deathstroke, and then it cuts to black. But like this one, it's like we're gonna put again. There's gonna be a sequel. Is like basically what Lex Luthor said, and then it's this stupid panning out shot of the boat with like the dumb Lex Luthor music from Man of Steel playing.
Yeah,
and you're
while that's happening, it's a really long shot. Like while it was happening, I'm just like,
and just cut it here.
I'm like, cut,
and cut
cut.
it here,
cut,
yeah,
cut, and they did it on like the 5th time I said that, and because it would have worked.
Because like, it's basically what you're doing is like a short trailer for the next movie.
That's what it felt like, but like it was like
a scene.
It was like a trailer. No, it was like an
interesting.
actual trailer though. Like it felt like it was long enough to be.
Yeah, well, like I mean, like
with trailer music.
yeah,
It was
like
a good,
you know,
that end credit scene was probably like a minute and a half.
yeah, it was too long. Like it was too long. There was like
Way too
7 things that they showed that were like not cool. Like, because all you need to do is Deathstroke's there. Because like he's cool enough. At least even if you don't know who he is, he looks cool. So you'd be like, oh, who's that guy? Like you're still interested at least, even if you don't know who he is.
Who's the guy with the eye patch? He looks. It's a good looking Deathstroke. I'll give it that.
Like
I just hate the scene so much that I forgot.
No, like I'm like when they first like show the full outfit, I'm like, Deathstroke looks cool. Like like and the outfit looks cool because it's fucking Deathstroke. He has a cool looking outfit, and they did it well. But it's like it's so like poorly done that it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. I just like Mano Bennett. He was so good.
Yeah.
It's hard to talk about.
I watched the premiere of Arrow. It's not good.
Oh, okay.
It's like very anything you could possibly imagine.
I know we're going. Oh, yeah, sorry. Keep going.
Anything you could possibly imagine or like predict of like what of like it'd be cool if they did this.
None of that
is not what it is. It's not what they do. They do the most like boringest like unconsequential possible version of it.
Okay, you don't have to tell me if I'm right or wrong or whatever, but this is just my guess. I'm pretty sure that like, oh no, everyone blew up, and then it cuts back, and then it's like, Oliver, I'm okay. It's like, what do you mean you're okay? All of you are fine. Yeah, we just went to the prison that's underground because that's not above ground where the explosions were. We heard your conversation on the boat. We overheard how if he died, everyone would just blow up. So, is it that? It's
pretty much that.
That's great.
Yeah, it's the worst.
That is the worst. So it's just a pointless cliffhanger.
Yep.
That sucks.
Like one person dies.
No, so what I'm
it.
starting to put together. I think Smallville is better than
these movies.
the CW shows.
Yeah.
Because think about this for a second. So
even like
because you, Danny, maybe not Arrow season 1.
Yeah.
But tell me what you love about Spider-Man for just a second.
Oh, okay.
Just a second.
He's a relatable character,
Yeah.
and like he has to deal with everyday problems. He has this guilt because he let his uncle die.
Yeah.
He's poor.
Yeah. Okay. And does Spider-Man have a team of people sitting in chairs looking at computer monitors telling him what to do as he's doing it?
No.
Exactly.
But Batman does.
And no. Batman's okay because Batman's just a guy and he usually has like one person maybe.
Well, but like if you include Robin, Nightwing, or
No.
Alfred.
They'll never have them all at the same time though. It'll just be Batman.
He sometimes does. Depending on the book you're reading.
No. But I'm talking about the CW shows. The CW shows, Supergirl, infinite, like, superpowers, has a whole government agency behind her back. The Flash has a whole team.
Yeah.
Arrow has a whole team. So, two things happen with this that ruins the heroes, which is, one, duality is lost. Because everyone knows their secret identity, so they don't have to live a double life. They just live a single life. And the other thing that's lost is that it feels as if they should be able to solve every problem really quickly. But they can't do that because it has to stretch out for 40 minutes, right?
Yeah.
It has to be a 40-minute long problem. So there's this part in The Flash where, like, he, like, gets hit by, like, the caveman. I was telling you about this. And then he's just, like, on the ground. He's like, oh, no, I'm hurt. Oh, no. But he has super healing and he has super speed. So he could get out of every situation he wanted to. But they don't write...
They don't write him smart enough.
But they don't write him smart enough. And they don't write difficult enough situations that he could have these powers. Like, and, like, he never has to worry about revealing himself because he has the costume and stuff. What's great about Smallville is that, one, he's on his own. He'll sometimes ask his parents, I don't know what to do about this, but, like, they're like, oh, gee, I don't know, Clark. I mean, I've never really heard of a shapeshifter before. But, I mean, judging by the fact that you're an alien, I believe it. So try to do what you think is right, Clark. And then
they'll give him advice, but they're not like, okay, well, I'll hack into the
they'll give him advice, but they can't really help him out. So it puts them in a state where he feels like he's on his own. And it's like, oh, but why doesn't he just tell everyone and have a team of people helping him? He doesn't tell everyone because every time in Smallville, this is an ongoing thing for the series, apparently, Hunter was saying. Because we figured out from season 2 and 3, from what we've seen from those seasons, is that every time Clark tells someone his secret, there's a consequence.
Right, yeah.
So he hurts people when he does it. So he's like, I can't do that. So he's basically by himself. And then it limits him in a way where he can't just save everyone, and he has to make up excuses, and he can't, like, there's times where he should be doing his superpower thing, but he can't because it's like, oh, I can't super speed in front of Lionel Luthor right now, who has a gun to my mom, because then he'll know I have super speed.
Yeah.
And, like, it puts, like, it gives you more barriers for your hero. And the thing is that the heroes, when they have, like, I think Supergirl's the least amount of barriers of any hero now, and the show probably tries to write it as, well, she's a girl, that's her barrier. It's like...
it is a little bit.
Yeah.
In certain things.
Yeah. I think season 1, they did a pretty good job because they always put her up against a threat that was physically challenging enough that you can understand why she wouldn't be able to solve it. But I feel like that's really hard to come up with a new villain every week. They can take on freaking Superman.
Yeah, and it's in...
But when it's just
in, like,
Clark,
season 2, a lot of the time, it's like, oh, this is a villain we can't just defeat by punching, or like, this is a villain we have to, like, think about.
So I guess
we have to think our way out of this situation and stuff like that, which is mostly good.
So I guess,
but I'll agree with you.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is that a lot of what opposition comes down to is the strength of the villains, because of course Clark could take pretty much anyone, but it's about his knowledge, it's about his secrets, and it's about will he get there in time? And so there's these more creative barriers, I guess, that make way more sense for the context than any of the other shows.
Like, because now that everyone that's ever been on Arrow knows who Arrow is,
and everyone who's ever been on Flash knows who Flash is, and everyone on Supergirl knows who Supergirl is.
Yeah, like there isn't like everyday conflict that they run into where it's like, oh, I can't, like, there's no secret identity stuff in any of the shows. There's no oh man, I can't let my boyfriend know that I'm the Green Arrow, because otherwise
so basically I guess the conclusion
or whatever, like,
the conclusion I've come to is that the coming back conclusion is maybe not want to watch any CW superhero shows. They're not really superhero shows.
They're Buffy shows.
No, they're not. They're not even Buffy shows. Because that's more like.
Because I feel like most of them have kind of taken the Buffy formula.
Yeah. But I guess I guess I'm trying
Buffy
to say
has a team of people that help her solve the problem.
They're cop
and
shows.
Then she goes out and does it.
No, but they're more like cop shows masquerading as superhero shows.
Yeah, a little bit, especially because it's a villain of the week and they have to oh,
And there's a team, and they're all good people are good at different things. But they throw in comic mumbo jumbo to convince you that it's a superhero show, but it's not a superhero show. So I guess none of them are superhero shows.
Not anymore.
That's why I say Arrow season 1 because only like 2 people knew.
Yeah, and that was
very. It was later in the series. So Diggle finds out episode 3 because he's like his bodyguard, and it's more for like. That doesn't really come into the plot very much. It's more just like there's one person that knows that kind of has his back.
It's his one character that he can interact with.
They can fall back on and interact with, right? And it makes sense why Diggle would find out because he follows them everywhere.
Yeah,
right?
So eventually he would have to tell him.
Yeah. And then Felicity finds out because he's like dying.
Yeah.
And that's a great scene. That's a great scene. Because those are the only 2 people that can help him is some guy with like army medic knowledge and the scientist girl. And it's like the stakes are high, and it's great.
Yeah, and it's like it's a life or death situation. Why this other person has to find out? Where usually like
Barry's just like everyone knows right away.
Yeah, or like
they got to the point that Arrow was in by like
halfway through the season.
And I think through Smallville, more people find out, but he never gets to the team point where. He's like
where he has a whole team of people.
No, I know Green Arrow becomes a bigger part of the show, and like they do like a couple of Justice League type episodes, but it's never a series long thing. So
yeah, it's always like that's because it's such a big root to the character of I'm Superman and Clark Kent that you can't just like everyone knows now. Like, you can have Lois finding out eventually.
Okay,
you can
back
have,
to Justice League. What's he going to do now? Is Clark Kent going to have to come back from the dead? Like,
oh, yeah, good point, because the cover story was that he died during
the Doomsday fight.
Fight.
Which isn't entirely wrong.
Which is still technically a lie. Well, I mean, it's still technically the truth.
It's a great cover.
But then it's like, oh, yeah, I'm fine. What do you mean? We, like, went to your funeral and stuff. He's like, well...
We had a funeral. Shot off rifles.
Wait, what are you?
It's from Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
You know that movie where his actions have consequences, but then he doesn't care.
But then he's like, yeah, fuck it, and then his actions have more consequences in the next one, so it still works.
No, but he's not really a relatable character.
No, he's an asshole.
He's an asshole who looks like a model. I'm sure you explained it great.
Yeah, I was talking to someone in my class today, and they're like, yeah, I didn't really like the Amazing Spider-Man movies because he's too hot.
Oh, Tobey Maguire is like perfect. He's so good. Yes. Wait. What's the? I think we should wrap this up. So, what's the moral of the story? Just anything.
Of Justice League, or of
just anything we talked about. Like, what's
the moral of the story? Is write good characters and good stories.
Yeah.
And don't fucking be Zack Snyder. Get Joss Whedon to do your movie.
Don't be Zack Snyder.
Be Joss Whedon. Don't be Zack Snyder. That's the moral.
All right.